The year is 1862. The United States, once a beacon of hope and unity, is fractured, embroiled in a bitter civil war. While the nation tears itself apart, another conflict, brutal and often overlooked, ignites in the western frontier, the U.S. Dakota War. In the heartland of Minnesota, a decades-long struggle for land and survival reaches a boiling point. The Dakota people, known as the Sioux by white settlers, find themselves pushed to the brink by broken promises, relentless encroachment, and unimaginable hardship. This is not just a story of battles fought and treaties broken, but a testament to the human cost of misunderstanding, greed, and the insatiable hunger for land. It is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences when cultures clash, and the voices of the marginalized are silenced. The Dakota, a proud people with a deep connection to their ancestral lands, had lived in harmony with nature for generations. Their world was one of balance, respecting the delicate relationship between man and the earth. However, the arrival of European settlers disrupted this delicate equilibrium, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of their history. The arrival of white settlers brought with it a wave of change that swept across the Dakota Territory. Treaties were signed, agreements that promised peace and coexistence. Yet, these agreements, often made under duress and with little understanding of Dakota culture and values, were routinely disregarded. The insatiable hunger for land, fueled by the arrival of railroads and the promise of fertile soil, pushed the Dakota onto increasingly smaller reservations. The once vast hunting grounds that sustained them dwindled, replaced by fences and plowed fields. The Dakota watched as their way of life, their very identity, was slowly eroded. The treaties meant to protect them became instruments of confinement, trapping them in a cycle of poverty and dependence. Resentment grew, simmering beneath the surface, waiting for a spark to ignite it. To compensate for the loss of their land and traditional ways of life, the Dakota were promised annual payments, known as annuities. These payments, often in the form of food, supplies, and money, were crucial for their survival, especially as their ability to sustain themselves through hunting and gathering diminished. However, the annuities, already meager, were often delayed, caught in the bureaucratic machinery of a government preoccupied with its own internal strife. Corruption and mismanagement within the Indian agencies further exacerbated the situation, leaving the Dakota to bear the brunt of the government's negligence. The delay of the 1862 annuity payment proved to be a tipping point. The Dakota, already struggling to survive on the depleted resources of the reservation, were driven to desperation. Their pleas for assistance fell on deaf ears, their plight ignored by those who held their fate in their hands. Section 4. The breaking point: starvation and suffering. Hunger gnawed at the bellies of the Dakota people. Children cried from hunger, their parents helpless to soothe their pain. The once abundant land, now fenced off and claimed by settlers, offered no solace. Desperation drove some to beg for food at the agencies, only to be met with indifference or hostility. "Let them eat grass," a government official allegedly remarked, his words echoing the callous disregard that permeated the dealings with the Dakota. The government, preoccupied with the Civil War raging in the east, seemed content to let the Dakota starve. The Dakota found themselves caught between two worlds, their traditional way of life stripped away, and the promises of a new life broken. They were a people pushed to the very edge, their resilience tested, their dignity trampled upon. Section 5. The fires of conflict, the outbreak of war. On August 17, 1862, the simmering tensions finally boiled over. A group of young Dakota men, driven by hunger and despair, killed 5 white settlers. This act, born of desperation rather than malice, ignited a powder keg, sparking a conflict that would forever alter the course of Dakota history. News of the killings spread like wildfire, fanning the flames of fear and prejudice. The settlers, already wary of their Dakota neighbors, demanded swift and brutal retribution. The fragile peace that had existed, already strained to its breaking point, shattered completely. The Dakota, faced with the certainty of retaliation, made a fateful decision. They would fight back. They would defend their land, their families, and their very existence against a force determined to eradicate them.